I want to dive deeper into fear, but I want to reiterate the fact that your mindset journey is never done. There's always somewhere that you can improve and work on.
Mm-hmm.
My mindset journey so far has brought me to where I am today, and I'm so excited to see where I get with it. And
Mm-hmm.
in the words of Michael Scott, he'll say it the best: "You have no idea how high I can fly."
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I feel about my life right now. So I'm pretty excited about it.
All I can see right now is Prison Mike.
I know.
When he's like, the worst thing in prison was the Dementors. And then the guy's like, in Harry Potter. And then he goes, no, there's no movies in prison.
The Office.
Oh, it just kills me. I love The Office. I could watch it every day. I love it.
I do. Kind of.
So funny. So funny.
Oh.
Throughout life, I've always struggled figuring out what I wanted to do because every single thing always kind of appealed to me in its own way. I've always been a person, I think, that could do quite a few different things, and they could make me happy, but I haven't fully found the thing that is like life-changing, the thing that could wake up every single day and be super proud to do. And then I realized that I was always pushed towards certain things because I was a smarter kid. From a young age, I was told, you're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a doctor, from multiple family members, everything. So I was like, I'm going to be a doctor. So excited. Could totally be a doctor. Don't want to be a doctor. Found that out after I did a co-op for 6 weeks at a clinic, and I hated it. I liked the interaction with people, the thought of health and helping people that need your help, but I didn't like the prescribing medication and how everything was geared around prescriptions and pills.
Right.
I thought that was the only thing I'd ever be able to do, is just prescribe people medication, which that's all I saw the whole time I was there. Mm-hmm. So then I decided this isn't something I want to do. So then I changed my mind a bit, maybe I'll go on to like preventative health or something like that. So I took biology and didn't like that. I hated it. So I instantly changed it to social welfare. I thought like, okay, I love the thought of helping people. I could help people, charities, work for a charity, something like that. Started it, didn't really like the program at Nipissing at the university I was at, didn't like it at all. So I decided that wasn't for me. If I was going to do that, I have to do it at a different university, but I wasn't ready to move. So I changed it again to political science, thought that that's something I love. And I actually do love political science still, but wasn't the right program at that university for me. They didn't have enough of a program for it, where I found that I dreaded every class. Dreaded it. So I decided to start working full-time and taking courses online part-time instead. So I switched universities. Now I'm taking business, which I do like more. I start my new course in September. I have 2 courses I'm taking in September. But my point is that I still, even though I like the idea of business and I'm working at a financial firm, so I still am not 100%. I'm like, is this the degree I want? Because when I think about the one thing I absolutely love more than anything is talking. Mm-hmm. I love communicating. I love asking people questions. How many times when we talk do I ask you a million questions to get the full picture of something?
Exactly. Yes.
Right? That's all I do. I want to know every single question of everything. I just love knowing and talking to people about what's going on. So that's why right now the communication is like the thing I thrive off of the most. Mm-hmm. I just love talking about everything. I love telling people what's going on. I love enlightening people and talking to people about what's going on in the news, what's going on in their lives, what's going on in my life. I love stories. I love all that stuff. So it's really hard for me to understand how I want to go with this. Like, I think this podcast is the perfect thing for me right now and for us, because it gives me that platform to just talk and kind of figure out what things I want to talk about the most. That's why you're going to see within this podcast where like there's going to be some more serious ones like this, where we talk about like actual hardships and things and mindset and different helpful things we hope will help people. But then there's also going to be podcasts that are just hilarious and comical and talking about things that are going on. And there's going to be lots of different stuff as we try to figure out what kind of path we want to pave with this podcast. But this is also helping me figure out what I want this to go with, like what way I want this to go for me because I'm still at 24 trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. Even though I have some ideas and I've pushed a lot of things that I thought I wanted to do away, I still haven't exactly found that thing where it makes me wake up every morning excited besides this podcast right now. So, and it's been a long time since I found something that like got me out of bed in the morning to like really be excited about it. So
I agree with that for sure. And
mm-hmm.
a lot of the time, that thing that you are meant to do is hiding just on the other side of that fear, or that little voice inside your head that's saying you're not good enough to do this, you can't do this. How is that?
Yeah.
Like, you're not worthy, but you are worthy of doing whatever the fuck you want to do. You create your own path, and if that path is barreling right through that little voice in your head that's saying you can't do this, you can't do this, like, honestly, fuck that little voice.
Well, we only have one life. I think when people say YOLO and stuff, it's like a joke. It is. But when you actually take a step back to think about it, we have one chance at everything. Or no, there may be reincarnation. Who knows? I don't know what goes on after this. No one does. But we have one, from what we know, one shot at this.
Yeah.
So I've just thought, it took me a little while to realize I just want to throw everything at something and see what happens. Because if I just keep waiting to figure out what inspires me, it's not going to happen. Because I feel like I'm the kind of person that I'm not going to be inspired by something until I put my full heart and soul in it and see what happens. Because I think my happiness depends, and like what I love to do depends on what I'm doing and something I create. I think I'm a very creative person and a creator, but I never thought that was a possibility because that wasn't something that you're told like it's a possibility when you're younger. Exactly. So I just never thought of it. I was like, well, I have to pick between like law or like doctor or like nurse or like typical things like that. But it just wasn't a path I don't think I was meant to take. And it just taken me so long to just be like, okay, let's create something. Maybe that will bring you happiness. Let's create something that's your own and let's see where that takes you. So I love listening to people. So this is the perfect outlet for me because we're eventually going to start collaborating with people, friends, people, experts on things, and asking them lots of questions. And I think that's going to really shine for me because I love asking people questions and listening and criticizing and getting input and learning from that. I just love that.
Yeah, so. You're good at asking questions. I love like listening and absorbing what people have to say. I'm obsessed with taking notes. I take notes for our own podcast that I already have notes for.
And lists.
Yes. You can't see me, but I'm fist pumping because I love lists.
So I remember, this is a funny story. Morgan and I were throwing a surprise birthday party for a friend. And Morgan said, we got to make a list. So I was like, obviously, yeah, no problem. My version of a list is maybe a few things I have to get at the grocery store or some notes in my phone. No, not Morgan. Morgan gets out a whole notepad, makes about 3 pages worth of notes, every single thing we need to buy, every this and that. And it was so funny. So we get to the day of the party. We drive up. We get there. Morgan's all prepared. She's been stressing for hours. I get there at the house. And she's packed more things that we didn't even put on the list she's added that I didn't even realize you needed for a surprise birthday party of like 8 people. I had no idea you needed this. So we get there and it's about 30 minutes before our friend's supposed to arrive. And Morgan looks at me and I look at her and I said, Morgan, you forgot the watermelon. And the point of the watermelon was it was the main display of the table. It was made, we carved it out and then froze the watermelon into like a alcoholic beverage. And then we're going to put it back into the watermelon. So we brought the beverage part of it, like the frozen watermelon slushy, but we didn't bring the watermelon and we didn't have a bowl or anything to put it in. So Morgan looks at me and without even a word, she's gone. She's driving. She's going 100 kilometers an hour.
I feel like I teleported from in front of you to my vehicle.
And my point that I wanted to make was that when she talked earlier about how stressed she was and how negative and how, like, I can see her the whole drive back then saying, I hate this. I can't believe I've done this. Why did I do this? I'm so stupid. I can't believe I've done this. Like, this is the worst.
Fuck, I hate everything.
This. Just everything, because she was just so in her head about things like that. It just stressed her out so much. But even though you still love lists and organization, which I love, I can tell that you're way more composed now, and you're able to kind of deal with the stress a little more. If you forgot something, I think you'd be like, this sucks, but it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And
Instead of driving 100 kilometers an hour for a watermelon.
down a 30-kilometer road. But that's the best thing to say. And you might think that you're going to grow out of it, but I'm telling you that you won't grow out of it until you take those steps to push yourself out of that.
Oh yeah, like they say about addicts and things like that, like you will not change unless you want to. So you have to take the second to think, is this something I really want to change? Because it's going to take time and effort. Okay, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just magically happen.
And like, that's going to be outside of your comfort zone, but your next level is just outside of your comfort zone. And I know I sound like, so I don't even know like what I would sound like, but that's what I'm saying. That's my inspirational quote of the day. Your next level is just on the other side of your comfort zone. You just have to take that step.
The problem is, I think it's just doing it that one time, just starting. That's the hardest part, is always just starting. Exactly. But the whole anticipation when you're starting something new, you're starting something that you're uncomfortable with, is the worst. But you got to keep in mind, and I'm not saying I've achieved this in any way. I still feel like this. And I'm like, don't look up to me on this.
And that won't go away.
It won't go away, but it will
accept it.
That, and I think it will get better and better over time. Like even professional singers, I'm pretty sure, still get really nervous before a show. Yeah. They just realize they still got to get on that stage. And then once they're on that stage and once they get off, they're like, okay, done. It's perfect. That went well. It was fine.
Yeah. So one thing that I'm going to say about that is that's a fear. That's a limiting belief. Like that's something that your body has determined doing this will endanger my ego or my emotions. So your body reacts the same way that it would react if a big grizzly bear is standing in front of you. A psychological and a physiological fear, when it's presented to you, your body reacts in the same way. Fear is your body trying to preserve its body, right? So your fear is just trying to protect you, and
which is a good thing.
You can't blame it, but you need to be able to tame it. You got to figure out how to walk with the fear, because it's just to protect you. You have to thank it for trying to protect you.
Well, it's a biological thing that we're always going to have no matter what. Well, new thing, anything that's scary or something. Yeah.
Well, I'm 25 and I'm still scared of the dark. Like, you know that
I love the dark.
You know that feeling that you get in your back when you were a kid and you shut off the light and you ran up the stairs? I get that 24/7 with the dark. I'm a security guard. Like